Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for your time. Hope you all are well. Please remember to stay hydrated in this sweltering heat. This is a two-part live pertaining to new criteria for the pageantry arena, Miss USA, Miss America. You can now be married, divorced, pregnant, and any age. Let's go to Texas for this set information. CBS Texas is the source. Thank you.
And the saying goes, beauty has no age. Well, it's proving true in Houston this weekend. A contestant for Miss Texas USA is making history. The 71-year-old, or should I say years young, Marissa Tijo is the oldest contestant to ever compete for the state title. The El Paso native says she hopes it inspires others to strive to always be the best they can at any age.
Wow. So what do you all think about that? 71. That's older. 71. Let's go to my poll and see. Well, I'm going to play something else and then I'll give you the poll stats from my community page. 71-year-old El Paso native becomes Miss Texas' oldest contestant. How do you all feel about that? 71-year-old woman competing Miss USA. Weigh in. Take the poll on my community page. WNDU 16 News is the next source. Married mom from Elkhart County, crowned Miss Indiana USA 2024.
Crown the sash. I love it. Thank you. But this is really a big, big moment. This is history for Miss USA. Talk about it.
It is, and it's a victory for all women. It is something that is it's pivotal, and it's now the time where we can show the world that you don't have to choose between being a mom or a wife or a business owner. You can do all of these things, and you can do them beautifully together, and they can really coexist and be successful.
And there were some recent rule changes. So talk about how this, was allowed. You were allowed to compete.
Yes, I was too old to compete in this system.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And even after they changed the rules the first year, I was still too old. So last year they got rid of all of the rules. They said any woman, any age can compete. And so, I went out there and we did it.
And if you don't mind me saying, you're 33, mom of three. We're the same age. And I think we were talking before this segment started. Sometimes there's a lot of pressure for women in their 30s. It's like you're in this new motherhood. But you really took this time for yourself and said, I'm going to compete, right?
Yeah, I credit a lot of that to my husband, Jeffrey. He's been an immense support system for me. And just getting out there and knowing that if I put the hard work in, that we can make anything happen. It's just been, oh my gosh, it's been incredible.
It's great. And I know we have some photos and video from your time. Talk about the pageant. What was that like?
It was a wonderful experience. I have to admit I was a little nervous.
Look at you.
Thank
you just
you.
Look at that like, wow. You go, girl.
Oh, it makes me emotional. It really does.
Yeah.
I was nervous going into it because I didn't know what the other women would think about me. I knew that there were some other mothers competing, some other women my age, but I was nervous at the dynamic. Like, would I be able to relate to them? Would they relate to me? And honestly, I made friends with everybody and we had such a great time, and I wouldn't have changed anything.
No, I think your message is so important. What has the response been? Now, you talked about your family, but what about people you've been meeting in Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, since being, in the newspaper and on television, I have a lot of strangers that have come up to me in person, and a lot of messages on social media, and the outpour of love and just the welcoming from everyone that I've received, especially in this town, has been really, really beautiful, and they're proud. And moms are proud.
They're so proud. Talk about your kids too, because I saw that quick pic. That has to be great for you.
I'm a mom of three boys.
Oh.
They're 7, 5, and 3, and they think that I am a big deal.
You are a big deal.
It's cool. I mean, it's really cool to see, they've supported me all throughout the last 10 months as I've been prepping, but now to see how proud they are that I have the crown, I have the sash, they are just excited to tell everyone everywhere we go, like, my mom's, they say Miss USA.
Yes.
In our house, we manifest. So
manifest.
it's beautiful. And I don't have any little girls, so they're just the best cheerleaders.
The best little boys. I love that. You didn't just compete. I mean, you rocked it. I think we have a list of all the awards you won, if we could pull that up, because it's Miss Photogenic, Delegate's Choice, Evening Gown winner, Swimsuit winner. That's amazing, Stephanie.
Thank you. I get so emotional because I'm so proud, and to be the waymaker for all of the married moms who are over, the previous age limit. It's just awesome.
No, and we were talking, pageants haven't always been in your history, right? This is something you recently wanted to do.
I didn't compete in my first pageant until I was 29.
Wow.
And that was a good time.
And at that point, you are considered, right, too old in some pageants.
Yes, and that was the Mrs. America pageant system. So that's all the married women. And it wasn't until I heard about these rule changes for Miss USA that I thought we'd go for it. And it was always a dream that was gone.
And right, isn't that a shame? But I love that they changed the rules now, and you proved you can do it. What's next for you? What are some of your goals?
Oh gosh, I have so many. Goals. But two things that are coming up in the next week would be tomorrow, the Elkhart Jazz Festival is taking place.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. So if you are there, please come and say hi. I will be signing autographs and taking photos. And then next Friday, the 28th, I am hosting a girls' retreat at Crossroads Community Church.
Wow.
So teens, if you're in middle school, high school, girlies, you'll be with me. We're having a sleepover. Bring your PJs. We're just going to, dive in, empower all the women and inspire them. And it starts at 7. And then the guys will be outside camping in tents. So there's something for you too, boys.
And I love that you're really taking this and making it, showing, you can keep setting goals for yourself and try something new and rock it and become Miss Indiana USA 2024. So we so appreciate you being here. When is the Miss USA pageant, by the way?
It is August 4th, and it's taking place in Hollywood, California.
Well, we will be cheering loud and proud here from the Hoosier State. Stephanie Sullivan, your Miss Indiana USA. Thank you so much for being.
All right. So how do you all feel about this new criteria for the Miss USA pageantry? Any age, pregnant, married, divorced? Because that's something that never happened with these pageantry criteria. Now it's open. So she said she couldn't even compete in the Mrs. USA, which I find that strange because she's still considered young, 33. So what is the age limit for the Mrs. USA? Very, very interesting information. Let's read the 3 little comments that are there. Phantom 1963 wrote, "Oh yeah, maybe YouTube won't take down this post. I hope someone reads this because the dictatorship. Oh, isn't she so beautiful? Vanity is blocking her beauty. She should be dedicating her time and talent to her children so that they have the wisdom to navigate this world successfully. Women, your true beauty is from within. This woman has much more support from all the wrong sources." And so Queen replied, "Good grief." Next person replies, "Real question, can she even cook? Basing the winner just off of looks seems real shallow." Wow. I'm going to reply to this one as well. You people are a trip. Why must it be an issue because of her age? You didn't worry about if the other young women could cook that were younger competing before. So why all of a sudden you got to ask if she can cook? Well, she's married. She has 3 children. I would hope that she could cook. But guess what? If that's not one of the questions that they're going to ask her, who cares? You see, she won the swimsuit competition at 33 and 3 children. So that should tell you something right there. Obviously, she has an immaculate figure for 33 and have bore children. Because you see pictures of her, she's very thin lady. So she's had 3 children and kept her physique. A lot of women aren't fortunate to keep such a physique and have bore 3 children. So I say she has more going for her than just, looks. And that's the whole thing. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Now, the 71-year-old lady out of Texas. That is older. Yes, indeed. But as you see, the pageantry has changed their criteria. Let's read some of the comments under that post, CBS Texas. This content was uploaded a day ago. Thank you for your time. 20 comments. Somebody says, about time, so amazing, says Natalie. Kathy says, lovely lady, wishing her much success in the competition. I'm glad that she's been able to take good care of her body over the years. She will have much to share with anyone willing and interested in hearing her full story. Tanika says she looks amazing at 71. Okay. She looks astonishing, amazing, fantastic, undeniably gorgeous, brilliant for a stunning woman at 71 years old, says Eugene. And then somebody smart says, hi, grandma, very rude. Well, she's lucky to be 71. Maybe you'll hope to get to that. Now someone says, everyone is trying for their 15 minutes of fame. Wow. Best at any age with a plastic surgeon and lots of dinero. Oh, yes, you know Queen's going to reply. These people are just rude. Why does she have to have had plastic surgery? Yeah, I'm sure going to say, pray you get to her age. Hello, everybody. See, this is what shows you how rude people are. Then somebody has the audacity to put transgender. Come on, this is ridiculous. What's going on with beauty pageants lately, says user. Alabama crowned an elephant of a lady as their winner. Wow. And someone else says that is not beauty and wisdom. Somebody else says delusional. I'm like, these comments are ridiculous. This shows you what's around. That's why the next subject matter is going to be talking about the toxic workplace, because this is what's out here, toxic people who have something to say about everything. As you see with these women, one's 33, one's 71. And on this page of the 71-year-old woman, you have all these nasty comments made about her. You don't know this lady from a can of paint. If you have a problem with the pageantry and their criteria, then take it up with the pageantry that they have changed their criteria. You would complain even when it was the regular rules of a certain age to compete. You still would have a problem, some of you. So it wouldn't matter if the woman was 41 or 21, 31. Some of you still would be complaining. You're just not accustomed to seeing a 71-year-old woman compete. That's all. But now they've changed the rules. You can be married, divorced, pregnant, even pregnant. Divorced, married, pregnant, and any age. Those are the new criteria now. As Queen wrote, these comments are hideous. You people need to grow up. Exactly. Because that's what's wrong with the world. Most of you should be thankful you're alive. And anybody that can reach the wonderful age of 71, it's a blessing. It's a blessing if you can wake up and be 33. Somebody didn't make it to 33. Somebody won't make it to 33 today. Somebody won't make it to 71 today. So let's go to my community page and answer the poll pertaining to the pageantry. Thank you for your time. A lot of nasty folks, I must say. Just nasty. There are new changes for women competing in Miss USA, Miss America. You can be any age, married, divorced, or pregnant. Do you agree? 30% says yes, 43% no, 4% not sure, 23% of you don't care out of 117 votes. So 43% of you don't think these new criteria should stand. You're entitled to your opinion. Under the 71-year-old post of that content, someone replied on the Queen's channel, "That's not natural beauty," says Suzanne. So 45 replied, "What do you consider natural?" Then I replied, "What do you mean?" Then I said, "Yeah, I'm confused. What's unnatural about her? You don't know her." These comments are rude as hell. Calling her transgender and grandma. She's beautiful for 71. She's blessed to be alive. You hope and wish you could look that good at 71. Some of you are much younger than 71 making these nasty comments. And you wish you could look that good at 71. You're probably 31, 41, and you're not a morning star yourself. But this shows you how ignorant people are. If that's her plight, the pageantry is allowing her to compete, then it is what it is. What are you going to do? Fall out, throw a tantrum? Same thing with the 33-year-old woman married with the 3 children. I'm assuming she has other qualities besides being allegedly attractive. And that's the whole thing. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. She might be pretty to one person. She may not be pretty to somebody else. It is what it is. Toxic workplace. My. What are the reasons that people quit their jobs today? Various reasons. We're going to take a dive into that after I play this commentary pertaining to the incivility at the workplace. 2-part live, everybody. Thank you for your time. And congratulations to those ladies. Hopefully they can make it far in their journey. Amen. Talk radio is the movie of the week. Older movie, but still relevant. All righty. Let's see where I can find this. Fox 26 Houston is the source. Have any of you have been in a toxic workplace? Backstabbing, gossip, negativity, pettiness. Were you a part of the problem at your workforce? Let's see what they have to say.
Pettiness on the rise in work environments. According to the Society for Human Resource Management, 66% of U.S. employees have experienced or witnessed incivility at work within the past month. Anton Gunn, CEO of 937 Strategy Group and former senior advisor to President Barack Obama, joins us to talk about this trend. So when we take a look at workplace incivility, first of all, for the viewer, explain exactly what that is and how bad it's becoming.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. First, let me say workplace incivility is a big word, but let's boil it down to disrespect in the workplace, where people are being mistreated by their colleagues and their coworkers in the workplace. Is a simple way to define it, and so many people experience it every single day at work.
Now, why do you think we're seeing an increase as of late? I think your recent study from a human resources management group indicated 66% of U.S. employees have experienced or witnessed incivility at work within the past month, and another 57% within the past week. So why are we seeing so much now in the workplace?
Well, we have to think about the context that work has dramatically changed since the pandemic. People's tolerance level is much shorter. People are more focused on taking care of themselves, and sometimes that creates friction in the workplace. And what we found in our State of Workplace Injustice study, that 66% of people experience all kinds of hostility in the workplace in the last year. Sometimes it's ostracism. Sometimes it's incivility. Other times it's just outright aggression and abuse. And so the real important thing here is to understand that it's more rampant than we've ever seen, and there's a massive economic cost to how people are being mistreated in the workplace.
And you have just given us some examples of incivility in the workplace, but you also point out some very basic examples that you have had and you have seen that people have been through, from gaslighting to workplace gossiping, all could be harmful to you on the job.
They're incredibly harmful on a job. And sometimes it's even more mundane than that. Just remember that when you create cliques at work, that isolates someone. And when you decide to leave a person off an email who should be on an email, or you don't invite them to the happy hour, you're creating an environment where people feel like it's uncivil, they feel unjust, and that allows them to make a decision that I don't want to be a part of this group. But they may not quit their job, they may just disengage. And the economic impact of them disengaging is really significant on the loss of productivity and loss of value to the employer.
Now, when we talk about that incivility, like a happy hour or an event after work, and you're a coworker, what if the coworker says, look, it's not my job to make sure you're okay? I would say it's a supervisor's job or the manager's job, but is that the responsibility of your coworkers to make sure you're okay?
Great question. I will say to you that it's everybody's responsibility, because think about it. When we work together, we're working as a team. No one really works by themselves anymore. And so you're only strong as the weakest link on your team. So it is everybody's responsibility. I would say a disproportionate part of their responsibility is on the supervisor. And we found in our research study that supervisor mistreatment was one of the things that really makes people disengage more, that they get this level of unfairness and disconnection from their supervisors. But overall, I would say every employee has a responsibility to make sure that their teammates are included, particularly if you all want to achieve the goals that you set out as a business.
Now, when you say workplace injustice, that seems to be bigger than just gaslighting someone at work. So when you say workplace injustice in the environment of incivility, what is that on the job?
Yeah, the easiest way for me to give you an example of what workplace injustice looks like is that, let's say in the workplace, you get chewed out for something that you really didn't do, or you get blamed for something that didn't happen. And you have a colleague or coworker who saw it all go down and know that you didn't have anything to do with it, but they choose not to step up and say, hey, this is not right. So it's like when your colleagues don't speak up on your behalf, it's easy for people to feel like that this is unfair, and you contribute to an unfair environment by not saying anything about it. Now, employees don't say anything about it because they are afraid to be retaliated against, and sometimes they don't want to be the focus of the attention, so they sometimes sit by. But to all employees, that says this is an unfair, unjust place to work, and therefore I'm going to disengage, I'm going to quit. Or worst case, they start to commit these counterproductive workplace behaviors.
Now, when we talk about women and minorities in the workplace, what did your progress report show on those accord?
Well, it's not surprising that women and people of color experience more injustice than the average person, that they tend to experience it in sometimes of microaggressions. People discriminate against their gender or their gender identity or sexual orientation or the color of their skin. So it's a higher level propensity of injustice that happens to people of color and women, but overall, it happens to everyone. This is a people problem. When 66% of all employees are experiencing it, we know that it's a people problem.
And of course, we'll continue this conversation right after the break, so don't move. Just like that, we're back. We continue our conversation about the 3Gs: gossiping, gaslighting, and gatekeeping in the workplace. Take a look. And when you have all of these problems happening in the workplace, on the job, what would be your advice to management and to the average worker in order to improve the environment that you're working in?
Well, Isaiah, this is going to seem very simple, but it is honest in the feedback. The number one thing an employer or a supervisor can do when an employee reports injustice is to actually do something about it. Our study showed that 83% of employers do nothing about it when employees report injustice.
Exactly.
Only 17% actually respond.
Exactly.
So the first thing is
that's a high number. That's a high number.
incredibly high, because most people believe that their employer are never going to do anything about it, and it gets validated when the employer never steps up to stop things from happening. So the first thing is to respond. The second thing you can do is to invest in training your leaders on what to do and how to do it and when to do it. We know that middle management is where most people are supervised, but most middle managers haven't been trained or equipped to know how to intervene or how to speak up,
yes,
and how to raise things up the food chain, up the flagpole, if you will, if there's a challenge. And the last thing that I would say that every employer needs to do is to increase their ability for people to report.
Yep.
Discover.
All right. Fox 26 Houston is the source. So is it other employees' job to save you on the job, step up on your behalf? If you've been blamed for something or intervene on your behalf, should other employees step up? The fact that many people aren't qualified to be in managerial positions, human resource positions, I will agree. Don't want to speak up, don't want to rock the boat themselves. But then one would say, well, why not? You're not working down here with us. Let's say it's human resources, and you get a problem pertaining to work-related issues between supervisors and or employees, or employee issues with one another. What do you care? You're supposed to be listening to the content and try to weigh it, and also get eyewitness accounts, because it is helpful to get eyewitness accounts. But then the flip side of that could be somebody could lie on behalf of somebody else and say, yeah, I saw this, they did this, and it could not be true. I always say it's best to watch, get someone to watch to verify. Pop up, check it out. But I do believe a lot of people don't want to intervene as a supervisor, assistant manager, because they don't want to look like the bad guy. But that's your job. Because my thing is this: it makes no sense for people to have to quit jobs because of other people. And you see this a lot. People bouncing around from job to job because of coworker nonsense, boss nonsense, rhetoric in the workplace, like I say, a hostile environment, depending on, age, gender, race, just all type of nonsense. And people are having to leave maybe a good job or a job that they like, but they had a nasty supervisor or a nasty boss, or maybe the person was opinionated. They gave their opinion, or they interjected and somebody didn't like it. Various reasons that people remove themselves from jobs and or get fired from a job, let go, etc. Have you had issues on a job where there was the triple G's? Gossiping, gaslighting, and the gatekeeping. Were you gaslighted often? Gossip about often? Gatekeeper. Have you experienced those 3 G's in your lifetime working? And I can see how being in some work environments can make a person paranoid, especially when there's always something going on. Kind of like being up here, YouTube land. Always something going on. But see, this is what people need to understand about the world. The world has been tainted. That's your problem. Because as you hear this commentary unfolding, oh, we're seeing more of this, and this. No. The problem are the people. People are wretched. They're vindictive. They're evil. They're bored. They're shit stirrers. You see it every day. Go to a job, go to a business. People are being snide with one another, saying nasty things to each other in front of patrons, which you're not supposed to be doing that. Bosses quipping back at employees in front of people. Very disrespectful. There's a time and a place for everything. People on the job not doing their job. I see this often going into public places such as, stores and businesses and restaurants. They're on their phone. They're leaning over the counter. And I'm sitting here thinking, shouldn't you be standing upright? If you need to go to sleep, you need to go home. So now imagine being someone working with this person that's sloughing off on their phone, checking their phone, dialing their phone. They're supposed to be working, and now somebody else and others have to carry the weight of the person that's sloughing off. need to take a smoke break every 5 minutes, need to go run to the bathroom, need to go outside, need to talk on the phone. You see this a lot, especially with young people and some older people too. Always on their phone. That's all you see in general. The phone saga. Everybody's got to talk. Bus driver, he got to get off the bus. He got to talk on the damn phone. You know you ain't got that much time to talk. What you calling somebody for? For what? To say what? Oh, I'm at my next stop. Just say. Just throwing out scenarios. 66% of people experiencing negativity, toxic situations on a job. Managers, supervisors, human resources don't want to do anything. Seen that happen as well. Complaints about a rude person working, employee, boss, and yet the person is still there 5 weeks later, 2 weeks later, 3 months later, they're still there. Why? Why they're still there? Oh, good help is hard to find. Is that what you're going to say? Well, they don't really care about their job, so let them go. Let somebody else take the job. I think that's the reason why most people don't get fired. It's because certain people don't want to do certain type of jobs, which that is their choice, such as retail, restaurant work. Those are probably the worst jobs to have. Working in McDonald's, Texas Roadhouse, working at the mall, because people are rude, they're nasty, they come in nasty, they're problems. Then now you got to go to work and work with problem people. So it's just a conglomerate of ignorant behavior. And have any of you been a problem on the job? You were nasty. You were gaslighting, gossiping, gatekeeper. You didn't hold your weight as a supervisor, assistant manager, third key. You saw people were bickering and you didn't do anything because you liked one person over the other one. Is that you? Someone in the chat? Viewing audience? Have you played a role in the nasty business of work? 39 votes 36 minutes ago. Do you think a higher percentage of people quitting jobs is due to gossip, backstabbing, and petty coworkers? 33% says yes. 23% says no. 10% not sure. Probably 50-50, 33%. So it's a tie between yes and 50-50. One person has commented. Vera says it could be the cause, especially since COVID. People are suffering mental health issues. Well, are they mentally ill? Which ones are mentally ill? No, I don't know if I understand that answer. Who's mentally ill? The people exacting the harm? Or the person who's on the receiving end? Let's go into Google and get more information pertaining to why people are quitting their jobs. Problems on the jobs. Thank you for joining me. So glad you all are up with the quit at 1 o'clock in the morning. Hello, Luminous. Thank you for joining me, sweetheart. Why people quit their jobs? Overworked. Lack of career advancement opportunities. No recognition. Company culture. Company culture. Hayes surveyed 2,000 employees looking for a new job and found that company culture was one of the main reasons. Wow. Let's open that up. Double standards, exactly. Lots of double standards. Seven reasons people quit their jobs. Low pay. Pew Research Center examined why employees left their job in 2021. Their jobs in 2021. 63% left due to low pay. It's hard to feel motivated to do well in a position when you don't feel adequately compensated. Rising inflation, lifestyle changes may cause employees to need more money to support themselves. No opportunities to advance. Other researchers found that employees often quit due to a lack of career growth as well. For instance, studies conducted by the Harris Poll Global Talent Monitor found that employees often leave due to a lack of career development. Feeling disrespected. According to the Pew study, 57% of Americans quit their jobs in 2021 because they felt disrespected at work. 35% of those surveyed highlighted this as a major reason for quitting. 35% of those who took the survey quit because they felt disrespected. Child care issues. Parents who have children under the age of 18, child care issues can also cause them to quit. The pandemic left schools, daycare closed for extended periods of time, which left working parents struggling to figure out how to balance work and parenting. The child care industry has lost 8.4% of its workforce since 2020, and it hasn't bounced back as quickly as other sectors, which puts an added strain on parents. Lack of flexibility. Similar to the point about child care, many people are quitting their jobs due to an overall lack of flexibility. For instance, the Pew study found that 45% left because they felt they didn't have enough flexibility to choose their working hours. A desire to work remotely has been another sticking point for many employees. Gallup found that 37% of employees would switch to another job that allowed them to work remotely, at least part-time. Lee Mead surveyed 1,000 full-time employees who started a new job in 2021, and 40% left their previous jobs due to burnout. 28% of employees left their jobs without securing another position due to burnout. Poor benefits. For many employees, benefits are just as important as the salary they receive. Health, dental, vision, insurance remain the most important benefits, with SHRM finding that 88% of employees give these benefits consideration before accepting a new role. Naturally, you have health problems or you have children, that should be your main priority, taking care of your family, because it wouldn't make any sense taking a job where you don't have any benefits. But the flip side of that is most jobs that have benefits are more career-oriented professional jobs. Regular type of jobs just don't offer health care. All right. Once again, SHRM finding that 88% of employees give these benefits consideration before accepting a new role. But if you want your company to stand out, you have to offer more than that. Mental health benefits, family leave, telemedicine services are all things employees look for. And then the main reason that I made this live stream, company culture. Hayes surveyed 2,000 employees looking for a new job and found that that company culture was one of the main reasons. In fact, 71% were willing to accept a pay cut for the right cultural fit. Wow. 71%. That's deep. Out of 2,000 people surveyed. Hey, CEO and Managing Director Dan Rodriguez said, "We hear every day from candidates looking for a company culture that fits with their core values, strong leadership, open communication, work-life balance, and career development are only going to become more important for attraction and retention." Feeling burnt out. Burnt out is a big problem for many workers, causing them to quit on record numbers. Lamid surveyed 1,000 full-time employees who started a new job in 2021. 40% left their previous jobs due to burnout. 28% of employees left their jobs without securing another position due to burnout. And we've heard of that too. People leaving their jobs and don't have a new job. Many people will judge you because a lot of older people will say, no, don't quit your job unless you have another one. And right now, the way things are, expensive as bills are, rent is high, mortgages, you really can't afford to just quit your job because you don't have a guarantee that you're going to get another job. But the flip side is that we do have more jobs available and they pay more now because they don't really have a choice but to offer a better pay. That's possibly why the child care business is lacking in employees, other jobs available with a higher pay. Strained relationship with management. For many employees, the job of the company isn't the problem. It's the person managing them. Gallup study found that 1 in 2 employees have left the position to get away from a bad manager. An employee's relationship with their manager can significantly affect their productivity and overall engagement. Wow, interesting. If you need verification for this information, uschamber.com is the source. Workers may leave their jobs to seek more compensation, escape a toxic work culture, pursue a position higher up the career ladder, and find opportunities to expand their skill set, among other reasons. March 27, 2024, main reason why, primary reason you have quit a job. Dissatisfaction with current compensation, poor onboarding experience, not enough flexibility, lack of benefits, the work environment, conflicting responsibilities. Different reasons. Just giving you a broad view. Other reasons: company downturn, acquisition, merger, or restructuring, as well as the desire for change, be it advancement, industry, environment, leadership, compensation, family circumstances may also be a factor. Poor work performance or an inability to do the job at standard is the most common reason for an employee's termination, and that's for people getting fired. Wow. What is sad is the obvious. People choose careers for different reasons. Sometimes it's pay, it's the field itself. Somebody recommended them the job. Various reasons. But my thing is, don't go into something you don't even think you'll like, just off the rip. Because people can recommend a job to you, a position, and it may be something that you would never want to do or try to do, depending on the qualifications. I say go into something you think you'll like. That's number one. Now, you might take a job that you didn't think you would like, and you end up liking it. But then the downfall is you don't like your coworkers, your boss. Same thing with choosing a job you actually like, and you have problems with your coworkers, your boss. I do believe that is possibly the main reason why a lot of people leave, because you hear it all the time, people complaining about somebody else on the job. And many people just cannot afford to quit jobs. And then you're judged harshly. People look at your resume and see you've been bouncing around. You don't stay long on the job. Well, what's the problem? Why'd you leave? Well, you don't want to start saying, oh, well, I didn't get along with Bob. I didn't get along with Dick. But they were teasing me, this and that. Because then they'll look at you and think you're a problem, that you are weak-minded, you're gullible, you can't stand up for yourself. See, every environment is different. I don't care where it is. Hospital, formal business, restaurant, retail, corporation. Every job is different. The responsibility, the work environment, the person running the company, the person that sits over you. Shared work, that will be an issue, as you heard in this commentary, Fox 26. No good to have to share the workload, and a person doesn't want to carry his or her weight. So that would be a problem. Now, you're in your feelings. Damn, I come to work every day, and I got to do all this extra. She ain't doing nothing over there. But they want the credit. That would be a problem. So now what do? Do you say something to that person? Or do you go to your superior and say, hey, we're doing a lot of this, and this, but Paul over there, he's not doing anything but goofing off. But then, God forbid, Paul's in good with the supervisor. Now you have a problem. So you have to watch your environment. And I tell anybody that. You want to learn your environment at work? Watch. Don't jump in head first. Don't be too opinionated. Watch everybody in the room, and then you'll know how to navigate accordingly. Who you can half-ass trust and not trust. And that's another thing. Camaraderie at work. As you heard them talking about, everybody going out for drinks later, but they don't invite Paul or Susie. Well, could Paul or Susie be a problem? They don't want to invite them. Paul and Susie are sabotager. Different reasons. Paul and Susie don't fit into the clique. And that's a bad situation right there as well. Having cliques. because that's usually the start of a problem as well. Friendships have already been formed. You come in, you're just trying to do your job, check in, check out. Maybe they feel some type of way because you're not really involved in the conversations or divulging personal information. I don't recommend you do that anyway. So let them talk. That's the one thing we've heard in jobs, how people fall out. It's telling too much. You start going into work complaining, one, about the job, complaining about a supervisor, complaining about an employee, complaining about your life, talking about your dog, your cat, your husband. He left you. He's cheating with Susie May. I don't recommend it. You don't want people talking about you at the water cooler? Keep your mouth closed. You don't want people repeating what happened last night with you and your husband? He left, you threw his clothes out, blah, blah, blah. They don't know that. They only know that because you told it. And a lot of people have had to live, they have regretted confiding in people about their business. You have to watch the boss too. Could have you a sneaky boss. You're confiding in him or her about personal problems at home or something going on with your children. You got to take off this and that. Next thing you know, you're hearing whispers about what you repeated to the boss when you only told that one person or you told another employee. This is why you have to be very careful about what you talk about on the job as well, because that can cause you a lot of problems when you start divulging your personal life. And a lot of you do like to talk. You have to tell everything. That's one thing about the South. A lot of us have it bad here. Bad day, complaining. Everybody's got to know what the hell happened from the time you got up to the time you went to bed. You got to tell what happened to the dog and what happened at the veterinary office. You got to tell everybody the cat's sick. You got to show pictures of your children as soon as you meet people. Stop doing that. Stop. And with social media, you have seen the downfall of causing problems out in the world, period. Doing nasty things, saying nasty things, things going viral. Your job's in jeopardy. See, you got to use your head. Watch, listen. Do not go into your jobs running your mouth. That means divulging information, being too opinionated, complaining about the job, because people talk. People repeat things. And remember, if you're the new person coming in, they may not even like their boss, but they don't mind throwing you under the bus. Oh, all she do is complain. Every time she wakes up, she comes in, she's got something negative to say, blah, blah, blah. She don't want to do this. She don't understand why she got to do this, and da-da-da-da. Watch your environment. You will know how to navigate if you watch people. Because as I said, that's the one thing I've seen, especially with women, talking too much. And some men, they are just as gossipy as women, come in talking about the latest quest, latest woman they hooked up with the night before, talking about their preferences. All of that's inappropriate. That's one thing that needs to be addressed when hiring people. Excuse me. Your tongue, your demeanor, and what will not be tolerated. So you want people to come to work clean, on time, positive demeanor, decent attitude. And that's what needs to be said, whether you're working at McDonald's, whether you work for Amazon, you're the mailman, UPS driver, school bus driver, etiquette. That is something many people are lacking. They don't know their role. And they usually have to learn the hard way because they've said something out of the way. They've done something out of the way. And that could be a supervisor, employee, it's all the same. People don't have boundaries. That is the reason why most people fall out with others on their jobs, because people don't have boundaries. People are nosy Karens, nosy Kens. They're always trying to put shit together. And people like that, I do not care for. Don't ask me personal questions as soon as you meet me. What are you, writing a book? We're here to work. What did you do at your last job? How long were you there? What happened? Where are you from? You got kids? Your parents alive? What the hell does that have to do with the job? I'm very leery of anybody, I don't care who it is, on the job. Start asking too many personal questions, you need to be leery. Some people may feel nervous, they want to break the ice, but that leads to shit, that chitter chatter. Because once you hear somebody repeat it back, then you're pissed off because you're like, okay, you've been talking about me. What's the big deal? Oh, Bob likes to go out on the weekends and Susie May likes to go out on the weekends. Excuse me? I didn't tell everybody that. Oh, but you told your boss that. Now your boss has to just bring it up in an open conversation. I've had that happen once at a job. Oh, Queen likes to go out. Okay, why are we talking about this in the middle of a shoe out? What? Know your place. See, this is why people get caught up on jobs. They don't know their place. They don't know how to be quiet. And you see a lot of that now, especially with young people. They talk so much. They have no boundaries. Just no boundaries. They've got to talk about everything. Boyfriend problems, wife problems, children problems. I don't advise that. I do not. I tell people that all the time. You better be very careful what you say. I said this to an older lady the other day here at the complex. I said, you need to be very careful what you tell people, who you talk to, who you hang around. I said, hell, even complaining, hell, can get you evicted from a damn apartment or housing development. You have to be careful what you talk about, because guess what? One thing we've learned about people who pass information, they rarely tell what they said. Girl, let me tell you what Susie said. She said blah, 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 blah. But they don't tell the part where they interjected and agreed. Know your role. Have boundaries. Because that is something I think many people are lacking today. We don't have boundaries. We want to know everything about people. We want to ask 50,000 questions when we meet people. And it's just ridiculous. Just like going out in public. You really don't need to know anything about the girl behind the counter at Starbucks. She is just there to make you coffee and serve you a Danish. You do not need to know her full name. You do not need to know where she came from. You do not need to know if she's got German or Irish in her. You don't need to know if she's married, if she has children. That's none of your damn business. It's none of your damn business. You're there to get coffee. Her job is to serve you with a smile, hand you your food, coffee, and then you get your ass from the countertop. That's it. But you see, as I've said before, hostile environments is because you have hostile people, messy boots. And the world is going to be this way until supervisors, corporations set a atonement in the workforce. And that's something I don't think a lot of people do. They might say, hey, you got to come to work on time. We'll write you up after this many times you don't show up, blah, blah, blah. But they don't talk about your attitude in hiring you. That's what you need to be talking to people about. Your attitude, your disposition. How you're carrying yourself when you get to the job. What you're doing while you're on the clock. Also, what you're doing off the clock. Because that can also spill over into your work. What you do when you get off from work. What you do before you get to your job. And I would not tolerate any backlashing, gaslighting on the job. I let everybody know. As I said, it don't matter if you're working at the Dollar Tree or you're working at McDonald's. It's the same criteria. Show up on time. Do the job that has been assigned to you. Don't worry about what Paul, Dick, and Harry is doing on the job. You do your job and mind your business. If you see anything nefarious going on the clock, feel free to let us know, and then we will handle it accordingly. But see, we have certain type of jacked up mentalities where people don't want to do anything. They don't want to stir the boat. People are afraid to speak up when they see stuff going wrong. Backstabbing, backbiting, lies, manipulation, connery, theft, whatever the situation is. And then you also have bosses, they don't want to say anything because they don't want to lose the people on the clock. But if you have nefarious dealings on the clock, people who are stirring up trouble and causing problems, you're going to have an issue anyway. And it may cost you in the long run, and hell, might even cost you your position. What are you all saying down here? Having worked since 1998, remained extremely close with a few coworkers until they passed away. I may have one someday, but I could go either way. I prioritize our life partner first. Oh, well, interesting. Okay. My first partner lasted 5 years. My husband now has been 38 years. What are you all discussing down there? Well, that's the latest. Pertaining to the hostile work environment. Have you been an eyewitness to it? Have you participated? Has it been exacted upon you? Please take the polls on my community page. And also the pageantry. The criteria has now changed for females who would like to enter the pageantry. You can now be married, divorced, be of any age, and you also can be with child, which I find very, very interesting. Yeah, you all are talking about everything but what we're talking about up here. What are y'all talking about? Now, I would find that interesting watching a pregnant woman walk out. Not to be rude, but I think that's the one criteria I think I would be a little bit leery. A pregnant woman walking, competing in the pageantry. I don't know. Everyone has his or her take on that. Going to read you the polls that I put up recently. Then we're going to go from there. Now, one person has commented pertaining to my... Oh, that was Vera. She still had that comment about suffering mental issues pertaining to the poll. Higher percentage of people quitting jobs due to gossip, backstabbing, petty coworkers. 40% is yes, 23% no, 9% not sure, 50-50, 28%. I also want to talk about jealousy as well. Jealousy is probably a main factor as well. A lot of people are jealous of other people who are coming to work happy, happy-go-lucky, successful. Maybe they think they got more than what they got going on. Envy. Lots of reasons why people backstab, gossip, keep up mess on jobs. Lots of reasons. I did a live stream earlier about Leilani Simon, who was complaining about her jail conditions. Here is the survey. Leilani Simon is complaining about jail conditions. Weigh in. You don't care, 21%. You're concerned, 1%. Accommodate her, 1%. Let her suffer, 78%. 365 votes. 66 says, well, she shouldn't have killed her beautiful little boy and discarded him like trash. Ginger Snap says, if you do the crime, then you do the time. Why can't people understand that their behaviors have consequences? Luna says, too bad. Jail is jail. You put yourself in there, lady. Morticia says, she's lucky she's alive, has a place to live and food to eat. It's much more than she deserves. I agree. Egg Hayes says, you be doing the crime, they can do the time behind bars. Andrea Yates must serve 40 years to be considered for parole, which she will be 77 years old. Should it be granted once she's done her 40 years of the life sentence? Yes, 15% think she should be granted parole after 40 years. 71% no, 14% not sure, 168 votes. Angela Luster replies, she likes where she is and doesn't want to leave that place. She was asked once before and she felt like that was where she should be. Don't know anything about that. Solo Nons replies, I think so. She's the only one I ever heard that I felt was legitimately suffering from mental illness. That's always been my opinion. So basically, 71% of you do not believe she should be granted parole for unaliving her children. Andrea Yates received life in prison for unaliving her 5 kids. Did the jury render the right decision? 91% yes, 6% no, 3% not sure, 127 votes. Your replies. Vera says, I remember the first news I watched on TV of her walking outside while with the meanest, mad look on her face. She didn't appear to be crazy. She was mad. L45 replies, doesn't anyone think her husband should have been charged too? The Queen replies, I read several comments below the video I posted. Many feel he should have been culpable too. Okay? Leanne says, I think death would be a lot better. Wow, somebody believes she deserves a death penalty. If a parent leaves a child inside of a hot car, should they be charged with first-degree murder, given a bond? Please check out my recent video pertaining to a couple leaving their child in a car outside of Indianapolis. 2 children were in the car, an infant. The other age, I do not know. The male allegedly went to court yesterday, and I haven't found an update pertaining to what happened in court. What say you to chat? First-degree murder, given a bond. 78% yes for both. 6% no for both. Not sure of either, 12%. Lesser charged with bond, 5%. 139 votes. And once again, pertaining to this live stream, new changes for women competing in the Miss USA, Miss America. You can be any age, married, divorced, pregnant. Do you agree? 30% yes, 43% no, 4% not sure, 23% you do not care, 120 votes. That's my commentary. Talk Radio is the movie of the week. That's the live for today. Early morning. Danielle says, take me to jail. No rent, no bills at all, no stress. 3 square meals a day at minimum. Well, you may not get 3 meals, but anywho, they may not feel like 3 depending on what they're serving. You might just get a sandwich for lunch. That's usually what a lot of inmates get for lunch. It's just a sandwich. Peanut butter sandwich, something like that. Trust me, you'll probably get tired of eating peanut butter, depending on the crime. Just saying. Yes, people have left their children accidentally. Good night, dear. That's one thing I wanted to say about the children in the hot car. The reason why I asked that question about first-degree murder is for the obvious reason. How do you know that person didn't leave their child in there intentionally so they can be done with their children? Because there was a case, many of you heard about the guy who left the child in the, he took the child to daycare. Then he had, he took the child to breakfast. I think it was in Alabama. It was a white man. He took the child to breakfast like he always did in the mornings. And he took the child, supposed to be allegedly to daycare, but he left the child in the back of the car. He also went to lunch, got in that same car. I believe he intentionally left the child. We later found out he was engaging in pornographic talk and asking a young girl to send him pictures and different things. He was a busy bee. All that came out in court. And I remember when I covered that case many years ago when I first came to YouTube, I had somebody write me a long Dear Jane, Dear John letter telling me I didn't know him. You don't know anything about him. He's a nice guy. I said, well, if you knew him so well, then why did he leave his child in the hot car? If you know him, you don't know him. Because if you knew him, you would know that he wouldn't have left his child in the car. How do you forget a child you take to school every day? You took to breakfast that morning. I still believe that man deliberately left the child in the car because he no longer wanted to be a parent. His extracurricular activities told the story. Anytime you have a grown-ass man messaging a child and asking her to send him nude photographs, that should tell you where his mindset was at the time of the child being left in the car. This man was a married man and sending inappropriate messages to a child, minor girl child. And I believe there were some other nefarious interactions with other women as well. So Some might say, well, that's not a reason to believe a person would kill their child or deliberately leave their child in a hot car. Maybe not. But if you just took your child to eat, how did you forget the child was in the back seat? You just put the child in the car? You left McDonald's or wherever you went to get breakfast? This was a routine this man did regularly? Now, this one day, you just so happen to forget your child and go park your car at the car dealership and lock the doors and go in. And they have him on camera coming out at lunchtime to his car. So you still didn't see the baby in the car at lunch? I'd say yes, he did. And that's my personal and public opinion. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. Have a wonderful week. Stay hydrated. Please take the polls on my community page. Weigh in on the polls and also the posts pertaining to the new criteria of the pageantry arena and also the gaslighting and toxic environment on jobs. Please feel free to comment below those said videos. I truly, truly appreciate it. Please check out my live stream yesterday pertaining to Leilani Simon and her complaints about the jail. As I said during that live stream, nobody really cares about your complaints. So long as you're eating and if you're getting adequate medical care, then that's the best you're going to get while in jail. Maybe you should wait until you go to prison and you can get all the snacks and Doritos and Fritos and commissary that you desire. And that's my personal opinion. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $McAngie129 Cash App, stickers and chats always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time during this early morning live. I will be back later on in the afternoon with more stimulating content and commentary. You all have a wonderful morning. Once again, please stay hydrated and please use appropriate clothing and sunscreen if you're going to be out in the sun this week. You have been listening to The Vault Excel.